First, just want to welcome everybody for coming out today. Know this is a little bit belated, but it's nice that we can be able to talk openly about Cole's addition to the team. When we had the opportunity to make the trade that would ultimately acquire his draft rights, we did so because it was driven by, our core values as a team and organization, and also the fact that we feel like Cole really shares the same mentality and approach that we try to embody with our team. We feel like we're adding another hardworking, high-character player, somebody that understands the concept of team and all that goes into it. And, one of the things that we've talked about as we were evaluating him over the years was this is a player that makes the routine play. He's a guy that does the things that it takes to win basketball games consistently, dependably, and from a very reliable standpoint. And those are things that Scott and I talk about on a consistent basis, that finding players like that, guys that make the routine play, are also guys that are found in winning programs. Speaking of programs, he comes from an elite program at Kansas, a team that had the highest RPI this past season, played the toughest schedule in college basketball, was a top 10 defensive team, and he's played in big games for a long time and has been a part of winning and contributing to winning basketball games in the Big 12 and obviously beyond for the Kansas program. Also has been coached by a great coach in Bill Self, someone that our program respects and knows. And although Cole's a young player, he's got a lot of things to work on. He'll be the first to admit that. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. We feel really good because we're continuing to layer our team with hard workers, high character guys, and guys that have a like-minded motivation and mentality. So with that, I'd like to welcome Cole Aldrich to the Thunder family.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out here. My parents making the trip from Minnesota. All my favorite media personnel here. I haven't got to know you guys quite yet, but it's going to be fun. Just with Sam and Coach here, just an exciting day for me. Just finally, getting back into the groove of things. It's been quite a while since I got drafted to. I wasn't sure who at the time, but finally being in Oklahoma City and just loving the area.
Yeah, Cole, how much interaction have you had with teammates, and what have been your first impressions?
The first time I've ever was able to talk to the coaches or some of the guys on the team was when I first got to Orlando on Thursday. It was finally when my trade went through and all that, and it was great just to see all those guys. The one thing that's really impressed me a lot is just the kind of the family camaraderie. Everybody hangs out with everybody, and there's no little small groups or anything like that, and that's really a huge deal because you don't really always see that in the NBA. And you hear so many different things of everybody goes off and does their own thing, but this team is really a tight-knit group.
Hey, Scotty, can you talk a little bit about Cole's talents from what you've seen and what you like about his skills, where you see him fitting in next year?
Well, first, we're excited to have him. Been around him for 4 days now. He said Thursday. We broke him in Thursday morning at 6:45. The quick little workout, but we like what he's about. He's about toughness. He's about defensive mentality. He's about doing the right thing every time down the court. And with our guys, he's going to fit in well with them. we have a pretty good team right now, and we have a group of young players that are committed to getting better, and he's going to fit right there with them all. I just like the fact that he does the little things. Those little things, you don't talk about them a lot. It's not always written about, but those are the little things that win basketball games, and he's about that. He's done it his entire career, and from the program that he was at in college, Kansas, we're thankful that we're in a position to draft him, and we're excited to have him.
Scott, can you talk a little bit about some of those little things and really, what and when you saw them from him?
Well, he defends. He protects the basket. He rebounds. Sets great screens. He's a great outlet passer. I'm saying things that, we're not looking for him to come in here and be a big-time scorer. We have a team that can score some points. Kevin, Jeff, Russell, Serge is getting better. James is going to get better. But we need to keep bringing in guys around those scorers that we do have that are going to get them open. And he loves the physical play, and we like that toughness about him. He brings that effort every time down the court. So the rebounding, setting screens, knowing where to be on the defensive end. I've always felt that that's very important. That gets overlooked. Know what schemes are we're in. The first day I talked to him that Thursday morning, one of his first questions, what kind of defensive pick and roll schemes do you run? And I was very impressed that he wants to know what we're doing right now, and he's eager to get into the fold of things.
And Cole, why do you enjoy the defensive end, and is that something you've always been into, just playing defense?
I think just kind of being bigger than everybody when I was a little kid, kind of always, it always kind of came that way. I wouldn't say a bully on the court, but, I would just say that, I was bigger than everybody, so I just loved to block shots and just rebound and just kind of, somebody comes in the lane, I don't want them to score, and I take real pride in blocking a shot or altering a shot or even having to pass it off. I always like to think that, the paint is kind of my home, and I don't want anybody coming in my home.
Cole, can you talk a little bit about how much more comfortable you may be with the Oklahoma City Thunder, considering how young the team is moving forward, being able to work hard with them, and also the fact that you've played in the Ford Center and this is close to your home and things like that?
Oh, yeah, I'm really comfortable. I went to school about 500 miles, not even 500 miles, just north. So the weather and just kind of the demographics is really what I'm used to. So it's just fun to be around here with such a great organization. With Sam and Coach, they're just guys that just love to get down to basically grassroots basketball. You look at the pictures of all the guys on the walls and the big picture over there, it's all the little things, and that's the fundamental things is where you start and you grow. The whole wall over there is defensive plays. You don't see anybody shooting a ball or anything like that on offense. So it's a great place for me because I love playing defense.
Hey, Sam, when Kansas was in here for the regional, you were in the crowd watching. Obviously there was a lot of talent on the floor, but did you anticipate that Cole might be the guy that you would eventually go after?
Well, whenever you're getting ready for the draft or just scouting in general, you kind of have to be ready for anything. And we try to just evaluate all the guys, and then from there, figure out who the best fits would be for our organization, for our team, and try to figure out ways to maybe come close to getting them. At the time you're sitting there, you just have any idea who's going to be around when you pick or what might happen. Things broke, positively for us. We're able to get a person that we felt like, as Scotty said and Cole as well, just someone that kind of continues to strengthen the organization by sharing the same kind of mentality that we've tried to layer the team with to this point. But you never know You kind of have to be ready for anything. But in this case, it worked out for us. We got someone we feel like will be good for us now and also capable of growing with the team as he gets more experience and time.
Hey, Scotty, your players are already talking about the competition that's going to be happening in camp with Serge and Naynad and Jeff and those guys. Can you just talk a little bit about the training camp battles that you foresee and what's your advice to Cole as he sets out on his rookie season?
Well, being a bully's not bad. One of the strengths of our team, how we've gotten to the point that we're at last season, was our ability to practice with extreme intensity. Our guys get after each other, and I expect training camp to be a battle every day, and we expect that. That's what we do here. We come to work every day, bring effort and bring teamwork. And we have a good team, and he is another good player to our team. One of the things that Sam does, he brings talent. He brings talented guys that are highly motivated, that are about team, that are about doing the right things on and off the floor. So he's another guy that will add to our team that will compete every day. Minutes, who knows? I met the guy 4 days ago. We have to see how he continues to get better in the rest of the summer and training camp. Don't know what's going to happen during training camp, but I know our guys are going to be ready to compete, and he's going to be in there competing with them.
Yeah, Scott, you're talking about minutes. You had a 9-man rotation last year. All those 9 guys are back. Are you prepared to expand and adjust to a 10-man rotation, or are you a coach that likes to stay with a 9-man?
Well, 9 is a good number for me. It's a good number. I mean, that's what the league, anywhere from 8, 9, and sometimes you might have a 10th guy. We're pretty set, but it's not set. There's minutes to be had. I can say, Kevin's in a pretty good place right now. He should be. I'm not going to guarantee him minutes, but he's in a pretty good spot on our team. But there's spots that are open, and he has to come in and earn. We're at a position to earn. We're not giving players anything. Kevin still has to come back a better player. Russell has to come back and continue to earn those minutes. And if Cole wants to play on the floor, he's going to have to show the coaches that he's deserving of those minutes. But we like what he's about. He's an intangible player that makes winning basketball plays, and you can never have enough players like that on the floor. So I really look forward to getting to know him and seeing what he can bring to our team.
Cole, is it at all surreal to think that where you finished up your college career is now what you'll call home? And I know you guys lockered in the Thunder locker room. Did you pick out a locker already?
It is a little surreal. We had a disappointing end in the Ford Center, but I'm just so excited just to get back on the floor again. With training camp coming around here in about 2 months or so, and just meeting most of the guys over summer league and all that. I'm just so excited to be here and just kind of finally, I guess, figure out where I'm going. I was a small bit unsure of maybe where I was going because it was still quote unquote proposed, but I still had a really good idea, and I was just excited, and like Coach said, I'm just going to come in and we'll just work hard. Whatever my job is on the floor or whatnot, I'm just going to come in every day and just work hard.
Well, Nick Collison, one of your new teammates here, a Kansas alum, has talked really favorably about what he's seen of you. He thinks a lot of what you bring to the floor. I'm curious about your relationship with him, and as a follow-up, Sam, can you comment on, did Nick sway the pick at all? I mean, talking to him about what he knew of Cole?
Sure, I'll let you start.
Yeah, I really like Nick a lot. There's times that you're a young kid at a university, and there's guys that are playing in the NBA, and you just love to see them come back. You love just to see the Nick Collisons, the Paul Pierces, the Drew Goodens, all those guys to come back and just kind of hang around because you almost idolize them. And Nick came back quite a bit. It was great to see him around, and over the few years I was at KU, we kind of grew a a really nice relationship, and text once in a while and all that. And finally being here with another KU guy, it's going to be fun because we're going to have kind of a little heads on some of the other guys' schools.
Matt, in regards to your question about Nick, anytime that you have players at different programs that might know other players, you get some feel throughout the year. But when it comes time to making decisions on personnel and acquisitions and things of that nature, we got to focus on doing that job on our own, and just let the players focus on their job on the floor and their development and doing the things that it takes to move the team forward, and we focus on the decisions on the floor. But I can tell you that once that became public that this was likely going to happen, I think Nick was pretty excited, because he has a great respect for just how Cole goes about his business, and the fact that he's an earner and fits in well with the other guys that we have in place.
Cole, did you watch the Lakers and Thunder, and did you think about my future might be at one of these places? What did you think of the series and the way the Thunder played?
Yeah, I did. I watched quite a bit of the playoffs, and being just kind of a watcher, you think, there might be a small chance of being on one of those teams because, most of the time playoff teams, really don't get into the lottery too often. And fortunate enough going where I did and being up in a great situation for me, I think is really a positive way to start my career.
Cole, your college coach was from Oklahoma, and you had a teammate from Oklahoma. Have you talked to them all about what you might expect coming here to live?
I've talked to Xavier a little bit, Coach Self a little bit. Xavier and I became really good friends. I had Darnell Jackson was another teammate of mine, and Jeremy Case, also from Oklahoma. So just talking with those guys, they love the town. It's a town of basically just hard workers, and you could really see it from them when I was on the court with those guys that it is a town of just getting down to the basics and just putting your work boots on every day and going to work.
Cole, can you talk about what you'll be doing until training camp, just your plans until then, and also what specifically you feel like you definitely need to work on before Coach Brooks gets a hold of you for good?
I'm going to be doing a lot of things. Just mainly just getting back on the court. That's the biggest thing. Summer league is over for us now, and just making that transition and just working with some of the coaches and just trying to get better. That's what the summer is all about, is using the things that you learn throughout the season that you need to get better at and putting it and getting better at. So, there's a lot of things I really need to get better at. The one great thing that I think is a great situation for me here is that with Durant and Westbrook and those guys, I'm not going to be looked upon to score a ton. I'm really just going to go up and run the floor, get some easy buckets that way, hit the offensive boards, and just make sure I can, make my nips there. But defensively is, I think, really where I'm going to make an impact.
Cole, can you take us back to draft night? We got the news, right as it happened that, hey, New Orleans is picking you, but you're getting traded to Oklahoma City. Can you take us to your timetable? When did you hear about it? Did you always knew you were coming here? Did you think you were going to be a Hornet for a while? Just take us through that night.
Well, every time that I figured out when you're sitting in the green room, you have kind of a certain area of where you think you're going to go, in the draft. And I thought my area was kind of between 11 and 14, and 10 came along, and, I'm sitting at the table, and I text my agent, Jeff Schwartz, and I'm like, am I going to New Orleans? And he looks at me, he goes, no. And then all the cameras just swarm you, and they call my name, and I just look at him, I go, you son of a gun. And then I go and, I did ESPN radio and whatnot, and I got back to do some other radio, and then up on ESPN in one of the TVs it said, proposed trade. and then had my name on it going to Oklahoma City. And I text him. He goes, "I told you so." Wow, it's just that whole night and the whole experience is just an exciting one and a very memorable one because very few people ever get to go through it.